Oh, hello, welcome to my office. And in today's video, I'm gonna show you my workstation setup. I'm gonna run through all of the equipment I use, and then we're actually gonna jump onto the machine itself, and I'm gonna show you how I've set it up. So let's get started. All right, so here it is. Here's the workstation. Now, the desk, it's nothing too special, but it's a stand-up desk. It's called a Jarvis something. I'll link you to all of the stuff beneath this video because I might not pronounce the name right or whatever. But just a pretty standard, cheap stand-up desk. Then the laptop. This is a true workhorse here. I've got the latest MacBook Pro 16-inch. I always get the most high-spec machine I can because, you know, I'm on my computer for a lot of time and every bit of performance helps. So it's worth the investment. But it's a 16-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 chip, 64 gigs of RAM, as high spec as it gets. Great machine. And why I like this kind of setup, why I use a laptop instead of a desktop, is I can have both basically. So with one cable, you can see there's only one cable going into this machine. I can power this full desktop setup with Ethernet, a microphone, a camera, a keyboard, everything. And then when I go home, I just have to unplug one cable and take it home with me. And I've actually got 3 of these setups. I've got 2 here at the office. One's out here where I sit with my team. Another one is in a private room if I've got to record something or do a meeting and it's private. And then I've got another one that's identical at home. So I can just switch between these 3 different workstations and plug in my laptop with one cable, and boom, I've got my full-blown setup. And then I never have to worry about keeping these different machines up to date or whatever. And yeah, I really like it, and I've kind of optimized this setup for a long time now. So I'm quite excited to share these different pieces of equipment with you. So let's talk about the screen, because this screen is seriously badass. It's an LG 5K 27-inch screen, and I honestly think this is the best screen in the world right now, and that's probably the best laptop in the world right now. I've actually tried that fancy Apple XDR Pro Cinema display, whatever the hell it is, that thing that costs like $7,000. I bought one of those and I tried it next to this LG screen, and I'm not even joking, it was worse. Everyone in the office agreed the picture wasn't as bright and it wasn't as sharp. And so this screen for only about, I don't know, it's just over $1,000. It's better than that $7,000 Apple screen, and you can just plug your laptop in with a single cable. It'll charge your laptop and power the screen. And the screen's got awesome onboard sound, like speakers. It's even got a microphone in it, and it's got a webcam. So it's a seriously awesome screen. I highly recommend it. Now, what else have we got? The dock. So this is called a Elgato Thunderbolt 3 Pro, right? Now, what this dock allows me to do is basically, it's helping me power all of this additional stuff from this laptop with just one cable. So I'll go around here and we'll take a look at the stuff going on. So I've got Ethernet going into this. So, you know, I've got an Ethernet cable. I've got this special microphone going into here. I've got this webcam, this screen, and this mouse, and this keyboard, right? So screen, webcam, keyboard, mouse, microphone, headphones, and Ethernet, all going into this dock. And then this dock just has one single cable that goes to my laptop. So it really helps simplify everything. It basically enables you to turn your laptop into a full-blown desktop with a single cable, which is pretty awesome. Now, what else have we got? So the next one would probably be the keyboard. So I really like this mechanical keyboard because of the key strokes. They're nice and deep. It just feels awesome when you're typing on it. Looks kind of cool too. And you know, it's definitely not essential, but I like to, you know, a craftsman really finds joy in good tools. So, you know, if I'm going to spend a lot of time at my computer, and if I want to enjoy the experience of it, I want to have tools that I like and tools that make me feel good. So, you know, I really love this keyboard, everything about it. It's super high quality. What is it called? I wrote this stuff down because there's a lot of words used to describe these things. So it's a Vortex Race 3 keyboard. Now the mouse, it's a Logitech G Pro wireless. This is a badass mouse. It's super light, and the battery lasts for like a couple of weeks before you have to plug it in and charge it, but you don't have to replace the batteries. And it's just super accurate. You know, when it comes to mice and keyboards and stuff, I like to look at what like the pro gamers are using, because they have a serious requirement for accuracy and performance, right? And so whatever tools the best gamers are using, like I'm probably going to use those myself because they've really put them to the test. And this is a super popular mouse with gamers. Now the mouse pad. This thing is pretty awesome. I really like it. It's really big, so you know, you can move your mouse around wherever. You can put your keyboard on it too. It kind of acts as like a whole desk pad. And it's called a Steel Series something. I'll link you to it beneath. But awesome mouse pad. Now, what about the headphones I use? So I have this cable here running out of this dock thing over here. And sorry, this camera is going all over the place. So I run this cable here out of that dock, and then I plug my headphones into it here, which means that I don't have to have all these crazy cables going everywhere. Now the headphones are Bose SoundSport headphones. I'm not a fan of these new AirPod things. It's just another thing to manage batteries, and you know, you can lose them. I like wired. I don't want to manage any more than one battery. And I hate Bluetooth. It never fucking works. So now let's talk about the microphone. This thing, it's called a Shure SM7B, and it's attached to a Rode microphone stand, right? These are like probably the best microphones in terms of audio quality and stuff. They're super popular, like all the podcasters and everyone have them. But you need a few other things to make this thing work, which is kind of a pain in the ass. It'd be awesome if it just plugged in, but you need a preamp, which is what this red thing is here, right? Now, the microphone like goes from here, and then it plugs into that preamp thing, and that preamp thing's called a Scarlett Solo. And it's a nice, small, tidy little unit. It's cheap. And then I've got this other thing on top called a cloud lifter, and apparently that like lifts the audio or something. I don't even know. I just read this on the internet. I know the mic's great, but yeah, this amp works. That's about all I can say about it. Now webcam, that thing. So this screen comes with a webcam built in, and the webcam's pretty good, but to make the picture a bit better, I use this webcam called an Elgato face cam, and it's better than the webcam on the screen, but it's no cinema picture, but it's a bit better than nothing. And it's simple. It just plugs in with a USB. And you know, I've got some companies to run, and I don't have time to screw around with like cameras and all of that crap. So I just like to keep it as simple as possible. Now for YouTube videos like this one, I just use my iPhone. I've got an iPhone 13 Pro, and it's got this mode on it called Cinema, and it's honestly pretty good. It allows you to change the aperture, and it's got a pretty good looking picture. And And so I'm just using that because I got to keep it simple. I don't have time to screw around with videos and everything. I just want to grab something, press a button, have it record, and then done. So when I make my videos, it's the iPhone 13 Pro in cinema mode, or it's a screen recording on this machine here, or it's like that webcam there. And that's pretty much my setup. So that's pretty much like the hardware, like the actual stuff you can see here. I'm pretty sure we covered everything. Now what I want to do is let's not forget, I always have a little moleskin notebook. That's just great for writing some things down, like what I've got to do, planning my day, something that isn't technology, right? It's the trusty old pen and paper, never fails. And so I use that too, and always have a LaCroix nearby, and maybe a coffee. And that's pretty much my workstation in terms of hardware. Now let's jump onto the machine itself. Welcome to the machine. Now, let me show you how I've got this thing configured. Let's start with the tools that I spend most of my time in, down in this little dock here. So I honestly, the thing I use the most is Google Chrome. I basically live in the browser. I use hardly any applications installed locally on the machine itself. You know, I'm pretty much in the browser all the time. And my choice of browser is Chrome. I also spend a lot of time in Figma. Figma is a tool where you can design interfaces and things. And so, you know, if I'm going to design a new website or some kind of funnel or the whole school interface, I'm going to do it in Figma. I love it. And then Slack. I use Slack for all of my team communication. I've got two things that I'm in here. School, one of my companies. And I like to keep everything real simple and minimal, if you haven't noticed. You know, I don't have anything in my dock that I don't need. And, you know, even in our Slack, I like to constantly prune our channels. I hate noise. I hate distractions. You know, business is hard enough, complicated enough without just having all of this crap all over the place, screaming at you all the time. So this is our school Slack, and then this is our consulting.com Slack. And, you know, whenever we get a new customer, it gets posted in the deals channel. Whenever someone does something fun and wants to share it, they share it in here. I also have my whole family in here. It's in the fam channel. So I basically use Slack for all of my communication with like my family. I even use it to communicate with my wife a lot. The whole consulting.com team and the whole school team, all done in Slack. Great tool for teams. So Chrome, Figma, Slack, Spotify. I'm always listening to some music. Music makes work awesome. So, and that's pretty much what I'm using, like Slack for most communication, Chrome for all of my tools, this for designing stuff, music's happening all the time, and those are my main tools. Then what else can we show you? So now let's look at like the applications folder. So I'll show you what else I've got installed on here. So Bartender, this thing is kind of cool. So up here you'll probably notice that the top of my screen is super clean as well. Like there's not all of this crap up here. That's because of this thing called Bartender. It basically hides everything, and then when you put your mouse up here, it shows you it. It just makes things a bit cleaner. Then Bitwarden is a password management tool. I've tried them all. I think this one's the nicest. Boom 3D. I like this tool. I honestly believe it makes the sound better. It boosts the volume and it boosts the fidelity and everything. I really like it. I notice a huge difference, but some people don't agree with me. Try it for yourself and see what you think. I think everything sounds better with Boom installed. Droppler. This tool's pretty cool for a lot of the time it's just easier to take a screenshot of something and put an arrow on it and share it with someone than it is to explain things with words. So let me show you how fast I can do that. So I just press a keyboard shortcut on my screen, drag, select it, and arrow, boom, just like that. And I've got a link copied to my clipboard that if I go to it, it will show that screenshot with the arrow on it. And you saw how fast I did that. Try typing something like that or doing that with another tool. That's Dropler. So I like that tool. Then this thing, I use it for just if I've got to convert a video file into an MP3 file. This is great for that. That's the only thing I use it for. We've covered these things. Grammarly, I really like this. I think it's worth it. Teaches you how to write better. Make sure you don't sound like an idiot. Carabiner Elements. I use these things I use this thing to create keyboard shortcuts with my keyboard. So I've got shortcuts programmed for all of the main things I need to do, like launching Slack, boom, like launching a particular website. Like I've got all sorts of things programmed that I do a lot of the time, and I use Carabiner Elements for that, as well as Keyboard Maestro. Then Keynote, if I'm going to make some kind of slides, I'll do it in Keynote. Loom is a great tool for recording a screen recording and sharing it with a link like really fast. So Dropler is like the best for taking a screenshot, putting an arrow on it, and sharing it with a link. Loom is like Dropler but for videos. So the two work great together. You can do a lot with Dropler, Loom, and Slack, and Google Docs. We use that all day long. Magnet. This is like a cool tool for just quickly resizing your windows. So like, let's say I want to make this thing full screen. I just bounce it across. Oh, well, that totally failed. So maybe I don't have it on. So like that. That's what it's supposed to do. So it just has shortcuts for like allowing you to resize windows and everything just by like bouncing it off the top. And it just saves some time, makes things smooth. So what else have we got? Where was I? Magnet. A lot of this crap I can't uninstall, but I would love to, like Mail and Maps and stuff. I never really use these. I don't like this. I use Spotify. I write notes in Notes. I like Notes. It's a good tool. ScreenFlow. I'm using this right now. This is my favorite tool for recording and editing videos. I'm an amateur with this stuff, so this tool is as complicated as I want to get. I don't want to install any of those fancy video editing things. I've got a lot of things to do. I don't have any time to waste editing videos. So this thing's awesome for recording your screen and editing. That's what I edit and do all of my videos in. Slack, been through that. Steam. If I've got some time where I'm feeling like it, might play a quick round of Counter-Strike. And then this thing here is good for like, I only use this for one thing. We have these mastermind events, and we get these video files that are like 8 hours long or something. I can just throw it into this video proc tool, and it'll splice those videos into like whatever size chunks I want, like 1 hour chunks, 2 hour chunks. It's just good for that single purpose tool. And Zoom, use this for our live calls and things like that. So those are all the applications I have on my machine. And I've shown you the ones I live in most of the time. And I'll show you what my iPhone looks like too. I keep everything super, super minimal. So nothing on the screen, it's just black. I have no push notifications enabled for anything. And I just basically use it for music, browser, texts, calls. And that's it. I don't like to fuck around on my phone. I find the more time I spend on my phone, the dumber I get, the more anxious and frustrated I get, and the poorer I get. So I try my best not to use my phone unless I need to call someone, and that's about it. Now let's show you like the browser, because this is where I spend most of my time in here. So it's Google Chrome. I have Google Calendar. I use G Suite. It's great. You know, Gmail, Calendar, Docs. I live in those tools all the time. They're awesome. And then I have a planner in here, which is my warm app, which you've probably seen from some of my previous videos. If you haven't, just Google like Sam Ovens warm app or whatever, that's that thing. I just renamed it to planner because it doesn't sound as dark. And then if I've got some extra to-dos, I'll just put them in Trello. Trello's a great little to-do list tool. And then I create folders along here. So if you want to create a folder, you just right-click and then add folder. And you can call it whatever you want. So I have different categories like school, admin, beats, finance, personal, whatever. And then I'll nest my different things like bookmarks within these. So I keep everything really organized and clean. That's about it for that. Then extensions. So Bitwarden is really good for managing your passwords. If you don't have a password manager, you're insane. If you're using Chrome or Safari to manage your passwords, you're insane. Because at some point, you're going to change computer or accidentally wipe it and you're going to lose everything. Or if you're using the same password for everything, it's pretty sketchy. This is a great tool. This is good for just like selecting if I need to find, hey, what color is that? You know, I can just find what color it is, like on the website. Then Grammarly. I don't care about cookies. This is a great one. You should install this. So, you know, thanks to Europe, the GDPR thing, you know, all of these websites have these cookie banners on them, right? It's really annoying. This little extension removes all of them and you'll never see them again. Done. Kill newsfeed. So this is great. So if you go to Facebook, or if you're unlucky enough to have to go to that, it just removes your newsfeed, right? So that's great because you don't want to see that thing. That's not good. Then momentum. So if you haven't noticed, like whenever I open Chrome or a new tab or whatever, it shows me this nice image, and there's a new image every day, and it's a nice image of nature, which is always nice, and it shows you like a little mantra thing. So like, you know, it'll say something nice like strive for greatness or whatever. So it's like, it's better to see this than what would normally happen, which is like news and social media websites and crap, which is likely to distract you. I like to set up all of my stuff so that I control my attention, not the machines. Because, you know, most people, they've got all of these push notifications coming at them. They've got all of these apps. They've got so much shit going on that whenever they go to do something, like let's say you have an intention, you have this idea, you're like, okay, I'm going to go and do that. Then you get on your computer, you open up one window, and then you just get derailed completely and sucked into a vortex of 50 other things. And then you catch it after about an hour and you're like, oh, what was I going to do? Oh yeah, that thing. You try to do it again, same thing happens again. I don't like that to happen. So I set up everything so that that doesn't happen, because, you know, your willpower, it's limited. And as soon as you get tired or as soon as you get bored, you'll break and you'll get distracted. So just remove all of those trapdoors. You know, it's like snakes and ladders, if you've ever played that game. You want to make the ladders obvious. So you should have the ladders in your face, because if you go up them, it's good. But the snakes, you want to get all of those snakes out of there, out of the screens, out of the interfaces, because, you know, they're not good for you, basically. So what else is in here? Return YouTube dislike. So, you know, YouTube removed the dislike numbers, which is kind of annoying. And if you install this little thing, it puts them back. And they're really accurate, super accurate. So that gives you your dislikes back. And what font, it just tells me what font something is, which it's kind of like a color picker tool. If I'm like, oh, what color is that? Or, oh, what font is that? I can find out. And that's pretty much it for my setup. I think I've covered everything. So that's my setup. It does the trick. I like it. It's good. Now, if you like this video, click that like button beneath and leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought of this video. And if there's something you want to see me do that you think will be helpful, then just suggest it below, and we'll take a look at the suggestions, and if there's some good ones in there, we'll make a video for you. Click that subscribe button too, and I'll see you next week.